when you grow up ill and you're no longer ill or as ill as you were, you kind of don't know what to do with yourself. But part of what brought this idea on is my hair. So I've never cut my hair before. Part of the reason is because I didn't really start growing hair until I was like 5. And even when I did, it was falling out constantly. It was decrepit, it was thin, and I had bald spots. Once I became 16 and moved out here, my health kind of stabilized, but started growing hair. And my bald patches finally got completed at like 18 and a half, I think. The hair became thicker, it wasn't falling out as much. And because I wasn't that sick anymore. And now my hair had grown to mostly my chest, and that's the most I've ever had. It was the longest it's ever been, it's the thickest it's ever been. But with it being so fragile my whole life, everyone around me is, you don't cut it, you've worked so hard to get it to grow, you don't have any hair, it's so thin. I've wanted shorter hair for 5 years now, but especially when I was 18, you could not catch me without my hair pinned up. I wear scarves for veiling. I would always tuck my hair in it, always clip it in the back, make it look short. I always did that. And I still do that. People aren't really surprised seeing me short hair in my personal life because I always have my hair pinned. I don't know, I just was kind of I want to do it. I have new health issues, but it's not the same health issues I had. And I'm also gaining weight too because I was so malnourished. My hair couldn't grow and it was falling out for that reason too. But I'm not there anymore. I'm not a healthy weight, but I'm healthier. I felt like having that fear of still cutting my hair was just telling myself I'm still sick. There's been many things in my life with that theme, and this definitely was okay, wait, I'm not sick anymore. My hair isn't falling out anymore. This fear is just past. I'm not sick. And I don't practice it enough because obviously I'm a hypocrite. But in my little noggin, I'm very spiritual, and you're putting this energy out there and all this, so all the energy I was putting out is just that I'm sick. And I'm not trying to call that to me. And I keep going back and forth of I'm not sick anymore, I gotta let it go, all this. But I'm still chronically ill, and I might need a new foot surgery, and my heart is still going through these trials and tribulations, and my lungs are doing this thing now. So every time my brain would be well, I'm not sick, it would be what do you mean? You have this issue, you have this issue. And yes, these are real issues. These are real things that affect me, but I'm not that sick anymore. That extent. Okay, I'm not bound to a wheelchair. I can't breathe, can't eat, can't do this. I still kind of need a wheelchair, but you know what I mean. I'm not to that extent. And I wanted to let it go. And then also just emotionally, I do you queens and kings, all those people. But I never really understood the cutting your hair from trauma, and I knew it, for people it would be emotional release, but I never really had that. It's partly because I didn't want hair. Growing up, I wanted my hair to look horrible, as horrible as possible. So I don't know, it just never really occurred to me, and I didn't really have any hair to be cutting anyway. But now that I'm older, I'm okay, I guess I kind of understand it. Emotionally too, just letting all that go, and plus I've been dyeing my hair for 12 years, okay? So it was dead, it's long gone, I am finally shedding it. I'm fully Bev now, fully. I'm so scared of telling myself that I'm not that sick anymore, and it meaning that I'm not sick at all. Maybe not everyone experiences this, but for me, my brain goes, if I say, oh, I'm not that sick anymore, then it means I'm not sick, I don't get to complain, I'm not disabled. I'd be oh, I'm anxious to cook a meal on the stove because what if I pass out? What if this happens? What if I get in too much pain and I have to stop halfway through and then I ruin dinner? But that's not really gonna happen anymore. Not right now, at least. I cook all the time now, and I cook big meals, and I cook these things, and I learn these recipes, and that doesn't happen. And even if it does, because there are times where I sit down on a chair, rolly chair, and do this, or I have to take a break. Even if it does, it doesn't mean I'm that sick anymore. And my brain says, oh, okay, if I accept that I'm not that sick, then I can't still be sick. I don't get to be a healthy amount of sick, if that makes any sense. I'm making it up, or I'm being dramatic, or faking it. If I'm not absolutely dying, partly OCD, but I do think that is kind of a common experience than we may think. And then it also makes me feel like I am making it up. Like I am trying to make myself feel bad, which in a way, psychologically, you are trying to make yourself feel bad. When I wanted to cut my hair and I was like, well, you know, why not? Like, this isn't really a thing for me anymore. My brain's like, well, what do you mean? We've always been sick. We've always felt this way. Like, at any moment, you're gonna get this sick again and you're gonna regret it, or you're gonna get sick again like that. And you cut your hair, and now since it's so short, you have no hair. When it becomes brittle and decaying, you're gonna be bald. There's nothing wrong with that, but for me, I like my hair cut. That's how my brain goes. I'm like, oh, okay, you're right, sorry, I can't. Tomorrow I'm gonna be in the hospital. It's not really good energy to be putting out there. And I do that with a lot of things. And I also stop myself from doing new things because my brain still is in that stage of that we're too sick to do that. And yes, certain things, yes, I am still not capable of. And I am very horrible at balance. If I can't do something, that means I can't do anything. If I can do something, it means I can do everything. So trying to tell myself, I'm not that sick anymore, I don't have to be scared, but then I'm still too sick to do this, my brain gonna explode, okay? And you know, that's just gonna take therapy and practice and growing up, but yeah, it's not a fun feeling. And I don't like it. I don't like that I do that. And I don't like that I'm so scared. I'm so scared so much. And it isn't being dramatic. It's just when you grow up ill, your brain formats differently. And you have trauma. And, you know, fight or flight and, you know, survivor's guilt or all these different things. And you're not, no, I mean, they shouldn't expect you to process everything perfectly and every other way everyone else will. There's nothing wrong with me or you if you experience these things, but we still need to work on getting past them for ourselves. You know, like I said, there's things that I don't do because I'm too scared that this could happen or this. Part of me is also, if I'm so scared to do it, I've never been able to do this before, and I do it, and there's no problem, that makes me feel even more scared than if the problem I was scared about happened. Just because I don't know what that means then. I don't know what to do. I don't know what that means for the future. I don't know what it means for other things that I'm scared about. And I hate that. I hate not knowing something. It means even more scared that I am going to be able to do it. And not because I don't want to, but because if I can, then certain things that I know about myself aren't true anymore. And then I have to figure out who I am and what I can do all over again. And being ill, you spend your entire existence relearning this, figuring out you can or can't do this, typically the hard way. So when I finally go through trials and tribulations and know that I can't do this one thing, and in 3 years' time, now I can do it, it's just so draining, and it makes me so mad that I couldn't do it 3 years prior. It makes me mad that other things. It makes me scared, mad that I was hesitant, that I didn't do it sooner, and all these different things that are so unnecessary. Just do it. If you can't do it, you can't do it. Okay, cool. Unless it's gonna physically, like, be a treatment? You know what I'm trying to say. It's really gonna impact you. Just try and find out. It doesn't have to feel life or death, but everything I feel feels like that. Trying to remind myself that, like, hey, this is normal. You're just a little traumatized. It's okay. You're not sick anymore, but it doesn't disqualify you. Like, you can't sit with us. Especially since, like, I need to go on disability. Like, I can't work. And, like, you know how crazy my brain feels and how mad I feel that I can't work a normal job or a job without just, like, very bad things happening to my body for short term and long term. But I can stand in the kitchen and cook this meal. I can walk my dog. I can go walk around a mall. My brain sees those things and thinks, if I can do this, why can't I do that? And that's not how that works. Obviously, you know, cooking your dinner is a necessity and a part of life that if I couldn't do that, it wouldn't be me being on disability, it would be me being in a home or with a caregiver. Okay, so I'm very grateful that I'm not at that stage. But just that's how my brain is. It's like I feel pathetic, or I feel like there's something like wrong with me, or I'm just picking and choosing what I can and can't do. Even though every time I tell myself that and I push myself, I end up needing another surgery because I'm pushing the body that isn't supposed to be pushed. So a lot of different, like, why can't I do this but I can't do that? And like, I always feel like the need to explain to people, which I didn't used to. I hate that I developed that. I did not used to care what people think. You know, before, like, I could only work like 2 hours. And then I really tried, and I've been trying really hard to work part-time, to work full-time, to try this, and it's just not working. But now that I have, just from my own personal life, had that experience, my disability has just, it is such a frustration and so hard, and it makes me feel so embarrassed and like a nuisance. And of course I would never feel that way about anybody else with their illness, but it's just how I feel about myself. I have luckily had workplaces that are like, hey, like, you know, there are resources for you, and like, yeah, I know. Which I am looking to. Like I said, like, I was going to be on disability, and like with Marfans, I'm pretty sure it's an automatic, like, acceptance. You just still have to prove you have Marfans and all these things. Because typically there's like a pending of if your illness qualifies to begin with, but it's Marfans, so I'm going to go on it. But then I kind of got kicked out, kind of not. It was complicated. Moved out. Very happy I did. Love my fiance. Very love my life. Anyway, but with that, had to pay bills. Couldn't afford to not being paid. Swallowing my pride and looking into disability. And something I did see is that, at least here in Oregon, you can be on disability. It'll still take a year to render, but you can work part-time. I think it's like you can't make more than $1,500 a month, which not a problem for me. You still can be on part-time. You just can't work full-time, which again, can't do anyway, so that works. Even you can make a little amount while being on disability. I prefer not to, because I prefer to not be in pain, but you know that is an option. That is something I'm looking into right now, but that is still so hard for me. Like I said, how is it that I'm cooking and cleaning my house, but I can't clean some random location? And I tried to be a cleaner. I was a cleaner for almost a year. Worst mistake of my life. Oh my god. So it's like I keep telling myself, like, why can't I do it? And I just can't. And also, you're not supposed to suffer. Even if, because I suffer just cleaning my house, but I have to do that. And my brain says, well, if I can make myself do that, why can't I make myself do this? And it's like, well, I gotta pick one. Definitely can't do both. But also, I shouldn't have to. Literally, the taxes, everything like that is supposed to be meant for people with disabilities. It's so hard to accept. And it's so hard to accept that I can still be ill and not that ill. Okay for me to be on disability. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm okay. And you know, there's certain things like just in general I don't do, foods I don't eat, things I don't drink. And if you can't, you can't. Do not eat or drink things you cannot eat, please. Please don't have a peanut allergy and you're like, you know what, maybe let's try again. Please don't do that. I always got really nauseous when I ate like certain foods. Like, well, you know, my stomach isn't full of pills anymore. My stomach isn't the size of a pinky. Like, I'm a healthy weight. Let me try this. And now my stomach can handle this thing and it doesn't react this way, and like, that is really awesome. Not knowing anything else and being scared that it's gonna turn out worse. And I think it's so important as someone that's ill forever, to not stop, because it can feel so endless. Like, you may try something, like me cooking. I'm always so scared to cook because I don't want to like pass out or need to stop and ruin the food. But I can try it. If I really want to, I can try it again. And if I can do it, that's awesome. And I have to be okay with, I can do it now and that's amazing. And I may not be able to do it in the future. And I may be able to do it again. With the type of illness I have, it is ever changing. And that makes me go insane. I hate it. Getting to a point where I can accept that right now I'm not too ill. Right now I can cut my hair without these worries. Doesn't mean it won't ever come up again, but right now, enjoy it. You know, I get so stuck of being ill that even when I'm not ill, I make myself ill. I make myself live in that body. And that's not fair to me. It's not fair to the people around me, because like, I'm doing so hard to get myself healthy. If I still am telling myself I'm this ill person, then what's the point? And of course, all of it's balance. Sometimes I tell myself I'm not ill anymore, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that yet. So of course, go at your own pace, your own will. But it's just something I've been thinking about lately, especially really becoming an adult. Job and a home and a family and like all these things, and like it's really making me realize like, okay, I may have to experience these things with illness, I may have to experience these things without, and I gotta figure out how to do both of them as gracefully as possible. Because I mean, hey, we're all just trying to figure it out, especially going into adulthood. Whew. Anyway, that's me talking about a little bit of that. And yeah, my new haircut, I absolutely love it. I've wanted to cut my hair like this for so long, and I'm really happy I finally did it. And my hair's not gonna fall out, and even if it does, oh, it's okay, I'm fabulous. That's all I'm gonna tell myself. If my hair gets brittle and thin, then it's gonna be a fabulous brittle and thin hair. And if you experience any of these, like just an anxiety of like being ill and trying new things and not being as ill, but then getting ill again and all those fun things, and kind of figuring out how to be an adult, let me know your experiences and all those things. Yeah, so until next time, thank you for listening and watching. Bye.